Good evening, gentlemen. Lawrence of Asia coming at you from the peaceful rice paddies of Bali, Indonesia. Hope everyone's doing well. This is my villa. This is one of the many that I rent out and I put on Airbnb. So happens to be the one that I'm staying in now. How's everyone? Cuban cigars. The only little bit of mundane pleasure. Well, can't seem to get the stove to light. Let me work on that. Sometimes you got to work on things, gentlemen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Had to wait on the spark. Gentlemen, just waking up. Went to have my coffee, cappuccino. Espresso machine is broken at the place nearby called Akasha. And so I had my matcha latte this morning. And it was quite nice. Gentlemen, you don't need much. And gentlemen, you don't need a villa like this to find yourself, to go explore, let go of all material possession, and go out into the world and find oneself. You know? You don't need anything. I mean, if you were here in Bali, you could live on the wild coconuts, like many of the local people do. You know, I think the biggest lie that we all experience as men is this idea that we need to have so much money already saved up in order to, or we need to be making so much money, we need to have everything figured out in order to go travel. And nothing can be further from the truth. The richness is not in the Instagram photos. The richness is in the people we meet along the way. It's in meeting ourselves. You know, we're trying to meet the right one, right? But really, we should look to meet ourselves fully, to know ourselves fully. That's where the real richness is in the realization that you don't need anything or anyone to be whole and complete. You're already whole and complete just by the mere fact that you're fully aware that you're alive. It's a grand gift. I might seem high, gentlemen. I'm not. I'm not. This is just a nonchalant video early in the morning here in Bali. And what led me here, gentlemen, was extreme disrespect from my quote-unquote wife, my baby mama. She's lovely. I mean, she's a great mom. But that intense suffering that we experience as men, that's all brought about by a level of expectation that another person is meant to fulfill us, meant to meet our every need. And I think the grand jewel of the human experience is in that complete fulfillment, that complete wholeness of just being fully grateful of the mere realization, gentlemen, that we're here. It's a grand gift. And it's so awe-inspiring. So absolutely amazing. The fascinating aspect about that is that you realize you don't need to chase, do anything, complete anything, become anything to have it. That you're already wealthy. You transcend the game entirely. So the intense disrespect from my wife recently, I am so very grateful for. Because it brought me back to myself. I had to honor myself, create some separation, come here and be on my own. And I have remembered, come back into full realization, the grand jewel. That complete wholeness and fulfillment. I found it again. That's what I found during my travels as well. And that's what I hope that you can find in your travels. Through the art of freedom. Letting go that all that is not you. So that all remains is only you. So that all that remains is only you. Not needing, not wanting. Just appreciating the most basic of basics. The fact that we're here. Being in the presence of God. Realizing our true divine self beyond the ego, beyond thought, beyond the tangled thought, the attachments. Beyond that, it's the kingdom of God. It may sound arrogant, right? But it's the transcendental state beyond need, want, and desire. It's that state of wholeness. And we've all been programmed that wholeness, completion will be found in the securing of a lover. But that, my dear friends, is nature's cruelest trick. the grand illusion, for disappointment will always follow. Guaranteed. Because that fulfillment cannot actually be found through the other. The higher taste, the deeper fulfillment can only be found within oneself. By not accepting ourselves fully, by not appreciating ourselves fully, we go on busy chasing. We need no recognition. We need no title. We need no thought. It's like it says in the Tao Te Ching, and what would you do if you found a man experiencing the Tao? I would just let him be. It's what I wish for all of you gentlemen, all of you sweet, sweet souls, women included, boys and girls, men of all ages. There's masculine and feminine. There's male and female. And then there's transcendence of it all. Beyond any thought, beyond any label. There's just transcendence of it all. And that's where the soul lies. That's where the soul awaits. I know this video started off rather what is it? Just rather nonchalantly, right? Shall we say? But I hope you found this message well, and I hope that you grasp the knowledge, the deep knowledge here. You know, you can have it all, gentlemen. How many tens of millions, hundreds of millions, how many billions of men now wish to have what I have? A location-independent business, enough money to fly anywhere in the world, a healthy, beautiful family, a beautiful wife, but you don't need, I have all that. And you know, there's the other realization that it could disappear at any given time, right? We cannot find our fulfillment in those things or in things outside of us. We're not whole and complete if we do so. So it's good to go back to the baseline. Baseline minimum, no thought, simplicity, sit with oneself, be with oneself, sit in the silence where God awaits. Find that depth of appreciation for the life, the grand gift you've been given. And realize that you don't need anything or anyone outside of yourself to have that wholeness and completeness, gentlemen. All right? I love you all. Hope this video finds you well. Hope this video finds you well. And then when you find yourself at the same depth of realization, transcending the matrix, etc., all that is left to do is just sit with it. And there's so much knowing in that. And it's beyond words. But the fulfillment is whole and complete. And even talking about it, it loses a bit. It just must be witnessed, it must be experienced, gentlemen. May you find that wholeness and completeness as well, gentlemen. And may you realize that you do not need a woman to complete you. Perhaps easier when you've had them. But perhaps you have to have one to realize through disappointment that they're not needed for your fulfillment. Yet, so many men hang on to the lie that they need something outside of themselves, their long lost love, in order to be complete. And all the suffering is all self-generated, created in the mind. Gratitude is the answer, gentlemen. In God's quietness. Get out of the cities. Go get into nature. Find peace and quiet. And go travel. Come to Southeast Asia. Go to Central and South America. Get out of the matrix. Drop all that is unnecessary. Get down to the essentials. The toothbrush, the passport, everything else is added on. All right, gentlemen. God bless. We'll catch you in the next one. Love you guys. I'm an open book. Ask me anything in the comments. I'll elaborate. I'll help you to travel. I'll give you the courage and let you know just how possible it is with far less than you might imagine. All right, gentlemen. Peace.